Superlatives time. What do you got?
I'm going to say, does it bother any a little bit? I'm going to go to the my first superlative is I am not entertained. Okay, the old gladiator saying, and I'm going to the Baltimore Ravens offense there. Right, I was so excited to see Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson, the Todd Monken look, Odell Beckham Jr. I know Mark Andrews didn't play, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, and I was thinking, man, this is going to be cool. They're going to break out a different look in Baltimore. And really, when it came down to it, the passing game was not all that impressive. Again, I think we saw some teams yesterday that didn't play in the preseason where you go, you need some reps in the preseason. You can't just think you're going to come out when the live bullets are flying and you're going to be on your A game. And, yeah, the Baltimore offense certainly did not look like it was hitting on all cylinders in that football game. In fact, I thought really there was nobody bad. They had some injuries that are concerning on the O-line. Linderbaum, Ron Stanley already. Like that's worrisome. But the bright spot was Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers was like the go-to guy, and man, is he impressive moving and running around and doing all that. But, yeah, the Baltimore Ravens, even though they got the win, it was through the defense and just not that exciting on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and look, maybe it'll get better. As I said last week,
first games are hard.
When did Todd Monken become Bill Walsh?
Yeah,
why do they think the guy that got fired by the Browns and was at Georgia for the last 3 years all of a sudden is going to come in and change everything? And I sense there was one play in particular. It worked out for the Ravens. Lamar Jackson was running to the right and threw it all the way across the field.
All the way across the field.
And I feel like he wanted to run the ball, and that was him saying, I can't run. I just got to throw it to somebody. Because he could have kept running.
Right.
And that was one of the questions I had. Will they stick with a pass-based offense when they know that they have Lamar Jackson who can run the ball? And now that J.K. Dobbins is out for the year.
I know, that hurts.
Will we see more Lamar running, or will they just go next man up with Justice Hill and Gus Edwards? I don't know. Zay Flowers had a couple of rushing attempts yesterday, so maybe we'll see more of him. That was a point Matthew Berry made last night. So we'll see. But, yeah, it felt like they were sluggish. It felt like a work in progress, and they still had a double-digit win. They still covered the spread and saved our best bets, I think. I think we both were 1-2.
Yeah. No, I was 2-1.
Oh, you were 2.
You were 1-2.
Shit. Oops. Did I say that out loud? All right. My first one is This Is Why We Keep Drafting Quarterbacks Every Year award.
Wow.
For the Tennessee Titans.
Wow.
Last year it was Malik Willis.
Right.
This year it's Will Levis. Willis, by the way, ends up being the number 2 guy, beating out Levis. Willis was the game day number 2. But Ryan Tannehill, they would have won that game yesterday.
Certainly.
And I thought they were going to win that game.
Yeah.
You and I both picked them to win by the exact same
we
score.
thought this was going to be this kind of game where they would pull it out.
But you can't have just the throw it up for grabs moments. You just can't have it. It's not sustainable, and it's just a matter of time before either Willis or Levis is going to be playing. Just like, remember when they brought in Tannehill when Mariota was the starter? You said at some point Mariota's getting benched and it's going to be Tannehill. I feel like after yesterday, this is going to gall Mike Vrabel, and at some point they're going to realize we can win these games. We just can't have the quarterback throwing it up for grabs like that, because in a close game, that is the thing that's going to kill us.
Yeah, well, they're a team that the game has to be played a certain way. They're not going to blow people out with an explosive offense. They're going to play through their defense. They're going to hope to run the ball and chew up the clock. And then when we've seen Tannehill at his best, he executes. He throws a lot of great intermediate throws, maybe scrambles for a first down every now and then, and they're tough to beat when they follow that formula.
3 interceptions that remind me of that playoff loss to the Bengals. Remember that hovered over him all off season long, as it reasonably would. That's an issue for the Titans, and I don't think he lasts long as the starter if he keeps this up.
3 interceptions. They had a block punt, and they got down inside the 10 a few times and had to settle for field goals. They couldn't score touchdowns. It was a field goal fest.
And they got screwed out of a defensive touchdown by that horrible call.
Worst call of the day.
Derek Carr.
Not only a bad call, they doubled down on the call.
I think they doubled down because
they knew they messed up a touchdown.
They knew a touchdown's coming off the board. So you don't get to that point if they say, "Oh, it wasn't a fumble in the first place."
Well, then why'd you? I agreed.
I think that's exactly what happened.
First off, like we always talk about, hey,
Howie Roseman would put you in the top 5 for saying that of conspiracy theorists. But that was the first thing I thought yesterday when I'm trying to process why did they not turn that into a fumble. because if they did make it a fumble, they blew the call. It
was a touchdown for the Titans.
Yeah.
That was a huge part in the game. The Saints ended up getting a field goal, but that bothered me yesterday. It did, because first off, I always think about the 50 drunks in a bar. First off, we weren't drunk, but we were 50 idiots in a control room watching the game, and nobody didn't think it was a fumble. Everybody there. I mean, a 3-time Super Bowl champion safety, a quarterback who won Super Bowls and was the coach of the Dallas Cowboys, all of us who've watched football, Freddie Godelli, a great producer, our producer, Matt Casey. I mean, all of us, everybody. Anybody I text to, everybody was like, what? That was a fumble. How did they not call that?
The ball was out of his hand, and he pushed it
forward.
It was not in his hand.
No.
It was empty-handed. It wasn't empty-hand, but the ball was out of his hand.
There was not any control of the ball in his hand. He pushed it forward. The Titans picked it up, and we're going to run for a touchdown. They blew the whistle dead, which they shouldn't have. It's the first rule of officiating. Let the effing play out. So they broke that. But instead of giving the Titans the ball, you're exactly right. This ain't a conspiracy. This is exactly what they did. They decided to not call it a fumble, so we couldn't talk about why did you take away a touchdown from that.
Bad rule.
Let me double down on
why'd the
first
referee
mistake.
blow the whistle,
Right.
or whoever blew the whistle. They shouldn't have blown the whistle. They should have let the play finish. But I think you're right. And if that would have happened, Chris, if they hadn't blown the whistle and the ball would have been returned for a touchdown, they would have reviewed it and they would have upheld it, because there wouldn't have been clear and obvious evidence to say it wasn't a fumble.
I think we had 6-3 Titans lead at that point. That would have made it 13-3.
Changes everything.
Really would have made it tight.
Everything.
No doubt about it. I want to say one more thing with the Titans. This is what I worry about. They got to play that style of football. Tannehill obviously has to play better. I mean, 16 for 34. But as we showed in that clip there, and as you'll see in it, nobody can get open. They have an issue. There's a reason nobody wanted to pay DeAndre Hopkins money. He's not a number one, line him outside, and he'll beat man-to-man coverage. Marshawn Lattimore locked him down, okay? So they didn't need to worry about that. And then, of course, their first-round pick, Treylon Burks, from 2 drafts ago, he hasn't shown up yet as the replacement for A.J. Brown. So they got issues there, and I think this will continue to be an issue. I just don't see how this passing game is going to take off with some of the weapons they have there. Tannehill's going to have to play better, really take care of the ball. Their D was encouraging. It was a little feast or famine, and I do want to give Derek Carr some credit for some real big plays and some big moments in the pass game that helped them win.
He was getting harassed a lot.
He was. They were around him a lot, and they couldn't get a run game going. He got harassed, but, yeah, in the biggest moments, he made some big-time throws.
All right, what do you got?
Okay, I forgot my other one. Hold on, I got to get to it. Oh, yeah, the Up Yours Award. Up yours,
up
everybody.
Your butt, Joe Boo.
Up yours, Simms. Up yours, Florio. Up yours, all NFL fans, by the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, who saw that coming?
Up yours, Pete Carroll.
Up yours, Pete Carroll. Right? The one thing we've talked about it before. One thing I respect about McVay, I mean, in his coaching career, his team always competes and plays like a bunch of psychos, which is what he is too. So they're a mirror of him. But yeah, to go up there in Seattle with all this new talent and bravado and all of that, they obviously had a chip on their shoulder. And I just can't stress to everybody out there how good Matthew Stafford played. Matthew Stafford's throwing to people that I know, like my Aunt Wendy's never heard of. You got Pua Nakua, right? Okay. Tutu Atwell. Most normal fans that are just following the league casually, they don't know who these people are. Look at that throw. That's insanity in the membranity. I mean, no problem. There's just a guy all over that guy. I'll just drop it in there perfectly, sidearm with a guy in my face. Stafford played awesome, and it was shocking. Even though they were down 13-7, they were moving the ball all day long. They missed a field goal. They had a field goal blocked at one point. But that was a big-time win. I want to give Stafford a lot of credit, McVay credit. And then they got 20 rookies on their roster, and a lot of them are a defense. Raheem Morris, the defensive game plan. I mean, Seattle never settled in and got really going on that side of the ball.
The table is set for them to be decent this year because everybody expects them to be so bad.
Thought they might be the worst team
other than the Cardinals.
The Cardinals, right.
But they come out and they do that to Seattle. In Seattle to start the season, that's a statement, and that gets us to really wonder about the Seahawks and really wonder about what the Rams may have. Maybe they're going to rebound after that horrible drop last year. Maybe they're going to come back.
They're going to compete.
Cooper
I know
Kupp
that.
is on IR.
Yeah.
It just had a bad feel to it. The key is going to be keep Matthew Stafford healthy.
It is.
Because when he's healthy, he can play well.
Yeah, he can keep him in any game.
Just a matter of time
almost.
before he gets a little banged up, and we don't know he's banged up, and then he starts losing some of that, and the next thing you know, potentially falls apart. We'll see. All right, this is there are no, let me try that again, easy for him to say. There are no moral victories award. That's what one of the Patriots players said after yesterday's game. They could have won. They're down 6. I respect the fact that they fought their way back into it.
Yeah.
They're down 16-0, and it could have gone like it did for the Giants. It could have gone like it did for the Steelers. But Bill Belichick and company willed that team back into it, and they could have had it. They could have taken down the Eagles. That would have been maybe one of our lead items today. If the Patriots had found a way on Tom Brady Day, and they got the new tradition
with a Tom Brady comeback-ish.
And beat the Eagles, good Lord. They could have done it, and they fell short. I feel better about the Patriots than I did, but again, they still lost the game. The Eagles got out of there with the win, and I don't know what to make of the Patriots, but after yesterday, it kind of fits with what we've said. Even though you look at the roster and say it may not be there, Bill Belichick and Bill O'Brien are going to find a way to get something out of it.
They're good coaches. That's right. That's the right way to say it. We still need to look and see the Patriots with another weapon on offense and some other guys there, right? Devontae Parker was hurt.
Going. They got pushed away from the run game.
They did. They don't want to play a 54 passes by Mac Jones.
29 yards for Ezekiel Elliott and 25 for Ramondre Stevenson.
And then, of course, they had their starting guards both out, right? So that was an issue. Their offensive line is a little bit in shambles. Hopefully that gets better. Mac Jones did look good, right? You know, and really, hey, you take away the 2 early turnovers, from that point on, the Patriots outplayed the Philadelphia Eagles. They did. I mean, pouring rain, Mac Jones throws a bad ball to the slot receiver on the right. It's a little too high. Interception, pick 6. The next drive, they get the ball back. Ezekiel Elliott, fumble, short field, touchdown by the Eagles. And the Patriots were just breaking into the game, and they were down 16-0. But after that, I think you got to be encouraged with the way Mac Jones looked, certainly. And then the defense. I mean, that's an all-star offense. That's a Miami Dolphins-ish type offense we're talking about with the Philadelphia Eagles. First drive, they ran the ball pretty well. And then after that, we kind of talked about it on a podcast. The Patriots, they got some big people up front.
Yep.
So they were not overwhelmed or pushed around by that Eagles O-line. And, of course, they have a pretty good secondary in the back end. So they weren't outmatched by Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. And they had a good game plan to go along with that. But, yeah, they had their chances. And they were a toe tap away from continuing that game and, being on the 8-yard line with about 45 seconds left and having a first down. Jalen Hurts never really got going. He was kind of harassed through the day in the pass game, and then, of course, had the big fumble, at the end of the football game that made things very dicey.
Got hit hard, too. It wasn't like in the Super Bowl where he just dropped the ball. He got hit, and that ball came
right
down.
on the ball.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.